Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Tim Lee. I am the Executive Director of the Texas Retired Teachers Association. Thank you for joining me this afternoon. I am on the road, and so the last couple of these that we've done, we've had different backgrounds, and normally I would be in our office in downtown Austin, but today I am on the road, so thank you so much for being a part of our day here and for your consistent interest in helping TRTA and our membership pass a very important constitutional authorization known as Prop 9. And so today's remarks are going to focus in on what work we are currently doing, the work that we see coming up in the next 2 weeks, and as well as some information for those of you that are deep in the trenches of communicating with folks about this important election. And so my setup, again, is a little different. And so from time to time, I'm going to look down at the screen, but I do want to say hello to Colvin and to Elva, Margaret, and others that are joining us. And so let's go ahead and get started with the activities. As you all know, we are about 2 weeks away from early voting. Early voting begins October 23rd. Will go until November 2nd. And so a lot of our energy is going to be focused in that effort. But I do want to make a few comments about our current steps that are already in motion. I want to encourage all of you that are TRTA members and leaders with the work that is being done across the state of Texas. Our membership has truly stepped up to the plate. We are active. We are engaged. Our membership is excited. It does not matter what part of Texas I go to. The folks are energized. Our members are showing up. We have in this organization, the Texas Retired Teachers Association, we have a number of local chapters all across the state of Texas. If you're brand new to TRTA, you may not know that we are a large organization of almost 100,000 members that work to protect the retirement security and improve the retirement security of all public school employee retirees in Texas. My hope is that more people will learn about what we do as an organization and then will get involved in our activities. This is a special time. Most of the time we're having fun and communicating and networking and socializing and advocating with fellow TRTA members. But of course, as you all know, right now we are working to pass Prop 9, Proposition 9, to give our retirees a much needed and much worked for cost of living increase that was passed during the regular session. So to those of you that are our TRTA leaders and are working right now on items that are already in process, I want to encourage you to keep distributing those signs. We have distributed over 15,000 signs across the state of Texas. We've got a lot of our partners that are helping on this. We've got so many of our TRTA volunteers that have taken their time and they've put a lot of their energy into distributing signs. I am seeing those signs as I drive around Texas now. And so I was waiting for that moment where we were going to transition from just knowing that the signs were going to be handed out to the time that I would start seeing them. And so I am now seeing those signs in yards across Texas. As a matter of fact, my son, who goes to Texas State University, said, "Dad, I was driving someplace the other day and I saw a row of signs." So congratulations to all of you. Let's continue to push those signs out. We do get calls on a regular basis in our office for people that still may be in need of a sign. Last I checked, we were very short on signs, but I want to encourage you that now is the time to make sure those signs are distributed and that they are visible. And I know that some of our chapters have gone to an even further step of buying their own larger signs and banners. I just want to again say thank you to all of you that have really stepped up to the plate for the work, the energy, Again, the enthusiasm that you put into this project to make people more aware of what is going on with Prop 9. But my hope is that every sign will find a yard to call its home. So let's continue to get those out and distribute as much as we can. I know that a lot of you are still using our push cards and making sure those are delivered. If you do not know, the TRTA has a small 3x5 card that explains the top 3 reasons why to support Prop 9. And it also gives the dates for early voting and, of course, the November 7th election. We have those both in English and Spanish. I'm going to make sure those are on our website so that you can have access to those. If you are looking for some of that information, the TRTA website, trta.org, that's www.trta.org. Right at the top of our website is a section on preparing for the November election. And so you can find some materials there. Please use those push cards, take them to your friends and your family. Ask if you can distribute those around areas in your community. Again, I know so many of you are already doing this, and we are grateful for you putting those cards out. About 250,000 push cards are being distributed across Texas. And I want to say, again, thank you to a powerful, powerful grassroots network that is the membership of the Texas Retired Teachers Association. You all are doing an amazing job. I'd also appreciate it if those of you that are participating in either push card distribution or sign distribution, if you can promote yourselves on social media. Social media posts are very, very inexpensive, almost free for us to like and to share. And so if you share your post with us on social media, we will put it in the echo chamber and we will share that. It's so important that the community see that retirees are working to get Prop 9 passed. We are, of course, trying to get the message out to all of the people that will benefit from the cost of living adjustment. That's over 420,000 Texas TRS retirees will benefit from the COLA. And so we want them to know that there is a major undertaking going on right now. And that one of the best ways to do that is to promote it through social media. I am, of course, as many of you are, sitting for a number of news media interviews, and we're pushing that message out as well. And I know that there are a number of media outlets that watch this presentation or may tune into it later. Thank you for covering Prop 9 and why it's so important for retirees to receive their cost of living raise, which was passed during the regular session of the 88th Texas Legislature. Okay, the next item that I'd like to mention for all of our leaders is to begin preparing the letters to the editor that will support Prop 9. Just this week, I've received quite a few of letters to the editor that are being shared from our members to me, and I appreciate that. We're going to try to continue to post those on social media. I want to give a little bit of frame of reference for those letters to the editor, because I'm going to come back and talk about those in a second. On our TRTA website, you will have a couple of different versions, a sample letter to the editor that you might be able to use as a template. We have a shorter version and a longer version. I really want to thank our TRTA staff, especially Cindy Sharp, who works and has worked with me for a number of years. Loves this organization, is just an amazing writer and does a great job. So she helped develop those with input from our legislative team, our board, other staff members, including our producer, Roy, who is watching this on the other side of the camera right now. And so it's just a true team effort. So you can find those again on our website, those templates for letters to the editor. But I want to put a pause on that right now. The key message in what I said was the preparation of those letters to the editor. And I want to talk about that as we get into what is coming next. So quick overview. We have got distribution efforts going on, signs, push cards. We've got letter writing campaign that has been underway. And I'm asking you all to prepare more of those with your local chapter. Okay. We want to continue to raise the awareness for Prop 9 at the grassroots level. It's been our objective. It's our biggest goal. It's our effort to get Prop 9 voter turnout. Number one objective of all of what we're trying to get accomplished is voter turnout. I have had many conversations, as have most of you, with folks that do not know why retirees do not receive any cost of living adjustments without legislative approval in the state of Texas. And while that takes a little bit of time to explain, generally that's just informational background. Most of the people that I'm talking to, as soon as they know what Prop 9 is all about, they immediately think of one of their teachers that they know poured a whole lot of energy into their life and helped make a difference for them. And they generally agree that Prop 9 is something that needs to pass. And so we need to move them from agreeing with that concept to becoming a dedicated voter. And so this next 3 weeks that we have between now and really 2 weeks between now and the start of early voting, we are 13 days away from the start of early voting. Voter turnout. So I want to talk a little bit about what is on the horizon as we look at these 2 weeks and how to really plan your time and your efforts and to, I think, reinforce what's at stake. And so the first thing that I'd like is to talk to our chapter presidents, our chapter leaders, legislative chapter representatives, our district presidents, our board members. We are asking for all of our chapters to truly coordinate with your local leaders on a phone, email, and text messaging campaign to really let folks know that early voting is going to start October 23rd. And so when I first started at TRTA, we always talked about the hotline, the telephone hotline that our chapters would have set up so that if there was important news, information, a legislative activity, people would get on the phone and they would, go from one person to the next. Well, times have evolved to include many other forms of communication. And so as a unit chapter leader in TRTA, I'm asking that you will get a plan and prepare to activate your communications network within your chapter, reminding people that early voting starts October 23rd and goes until November 2nd. That messaging should really start sometime around next Thursday or Friday, around October 18th. So early voting starts October 23rd, and you've got about a week that your leaders can put together a very quick, short, upbeat message, just reminding everyone, that now is the time. So have a game plan ready to get out and vote. We have to really make sure that we are turning out the guaranteed vote for Prop 9. And the best way to do that is to go directly to the people that are going to be positively affected. And so, again, I'm asking that your chapter will look at your methods of communication when you want to communicate a message to your chapter participants. What is the best method for you to communicate that? Is it going to be via text, a group text? Is it going to be a group email? Is it a telephone tree? We want to make sure that our voters that we know who will benefit from the COLA specifically are geared up, ready to go, and they know that early voting starts October 23rd. So please use whatever those methods of communication are and be ready for that. Again, this has all been about pacing, and I think a lot of us have seen that the pace of a campaign, timing is everything. And so you've got the preparation time, which is sort of where we are right now, so that all of the leaders can agree on how it's going to happen, and you can work out those details and you can kind of get it organized. And then there's the actual distribution of the material time And so you don't want to be, too far ahead of the cart, but you also want to be ready for when it is time to make that happen. Again, October 23rd is the start of early voting. It is just around the corner. We've got all of next week. And so if you're communicating Thursday or Friday of next week, then we'll start to see a strong, I think, a voter turnout early during the first week of early voting. And again, it's all about voter turnout for Prop 9. The next thing I'd like to communicate with y'all is to be ready with those letters to the editor that I mentioned. The importance of the 2 weeks of early voting cannot be overstated. And we know that a lot of our members are going to vote during the early voting time frame, October 23rd to November 2nd. And what would be very encouraging, not just for our members, but for all people who are thinking about going to the polls and voting on these important propositions that'll be on the ballot, is a regular cadence of letters to the editor that will reinforce the positive reality of Prop 9. My hope is that you will have a group of letter to the editor writers in your chapter that will stagger the distribution of their letters to the editor by a day. And so if you're in a chapter that is able to do that, and you've got 10 or 12 volunteers who all want to come up with a similar letter, but all, that has their own flair to it about why to support Prop 9, and you start submitting those day after day, my hope is that the newspapers will start publishing those during the entirety of that 2 weeks of the campaign. Of course, we cannot control how the newspapers will print those. Some of you know the media outlets in your area better than what may be going on in Austin or Dripping Springs, where I live. And if you know that you've got a daily or a weekly, and there's a certain time frame to get those letters to the editor there, then of course, do what you know is best. Perhaps mention to the letter to the editor of the paper that you've got 10 or 12 of these, and if you're going to do one group submission, ask if they can, if they would be interested in staggering those out so that the voice of the local community can be heard during the entirety period of time during the early voting process. As we get to the early voting, we really are going to start running a little bit faster. We're going to get into that final sprint of the marathon that we've been on, but it's so vitally important to be visible, to be positive, to be communicative, and to try to own the space where people may be looking for information about these propositions. So the other thing about letters to the editor is that, of course, while we are trying to get them published in newspapers, there's absolutely nothing wrong with you self-publishing your own letter to the editor. So if you want to go ahead and put your letter to the editor on social media, Facebook or LinkedIn, or if you want to put it on X, formerly known as Twitter, by all means, self-publish, get your letter to the editor out there, because TRTA has so many media contacts that are paying attention to this election. It may be that with TRTA, again, putting in the echo chamber information that you're sharing with us, it may be that a news person will see your letter to the editor in social media and want to pursue a story or to make sure that it gets printed. And of course, in this day and age, newspapers are important. They're playing a vital role in getting that communication out. But a lot of the media that also pays attention to TRTA is local news media, television media. And so please, as you develop your letters to the editor and you're promoting the positive realities of Prop 9 and you're getting those submitted to the newspapers, do not forget about the power of social media, and that there are many folks that are watching your social media. They're watching our social media, and we're going to share those with folks so that we can try to get as much media attention as we can. Okay. I want to also, again, restate the importance of getting the vote out and the grassroots effort that'll be necessary to mobilize folks during this election. I have been talking to our grassroots leaders at their chapter meetings and been on the road with many of the folks. Thank you so much for allowing me to come and be a part of your chapter or your district meeting. I love meeting with all of you folks. You're the best part of this whole TRTA experience is the membership that I get a chance to engage with and talk to. And I know that by listening to a lot of the concerns that folks have, one of the things that we discover very quickly is that it is difficult, really difficult, to get people to the polls and vote on stuff, especially if they think that it's already okay and it's going to be okay and it's going to pass. A lot of times we get lulled into a lack of voter turnout for just the idea that who isn't going to vote for that? Why wouldn't somebody support that? So, maybe I have to go to the grocery store, or maybe I've got to pick up the kids from school, or maybe I've got to get to the gym, or, we all live busy lives. And sometimes we can just talk ourselves into a sense of self-security that somebody will vote, and those people that are going to vote are definitely going to vote for our retired school employees of Texas, because, again, who wouldn't want to do that? But I think a lot of us know that in this election cycle, the folks that are going to show up may be very, very excited to vote for something, but a lot of folks are also very, very excited to vote against things. And we never want to take for granted the idea that I think by and large, the vast majority of Texans support our public school employee retirees. Most of our Texans have a family member who is a Texas TRS retiree. And the idea that somebody would potentially vote against them, again, could be taken for granted a little bit. So we will win Prop 9 by understanding that in this moment, no vote can be taken for granted, and that we as an organization are the loudest voice in support of Prop 9. We are the megaphone. We are that microphone and the speaker system and the energy, the electricity behind getting the word out and making sure that people follow through to vote on Prop 9. I have not encountered any significant opposition. I know there's opposition out there, but a significant amount of opposition coming from people that I speak to directly saying they don't support Prop 9. I haven't seen that, which can also be a pretty scary thing, in that if we all believe that it's just going to happen, but we don't show up to vote for it, that's when you really start running a risk of seeing things turn the other direction. So voter turnout is the name of this game. And it is why it is so important that everyone who's going to benefit from Prop 9 is alerted that early voting starts on October 23rd. It will go until November 2nd. They get one final shot on November 7th to get out and vote. That's the official election day. But turnout. And after we have convinced all of our folks that October 23rd, November 2nd is the time to get out and vote, and if they miss it then, they can go November 7th. Once we've convinced our folks of that, well, then we go to the next group of individuals that we have all been working so hard to put together so that we have guaranteed voter turnout for Prop 9. All of you have been listening to me for the last 4 months talk about these magic lists of 10 to 20 people or 30 people or 40 or however many you can get. This is the moment. This is the moment where those lists really come into play. And so if you're watching me today and you've got 4 or 5 people on a list, or if you haven't started a list yet, I am asking you, please understand in this moment, voter turnout is the most important aspect of passing Prop 9, and that positive voter turnout will only happen if you ask those people to show up and vote for you. Ask the people that you know cannot tell you no, the folks that you have been a part of their life. Maybe they're your neighbor, maybe they're your friend, a former student, former students' parents. Any of those folks, those names and phone numbers need to be on a list. And everyone who is watching this and everyone who is going to pass this message on to the people that may not watch this but want to know, what did we talk about today? Voter turnout is critical, and our members' activities to expand beyond our normal TRS, TRTA, retiree voter turnout is absolutely imperative. And so please, if you have started your list, get it ready, start making those phone calls at the end of next week. Again, target the October 18th or 19th. People will need to be reminded that there is an early voting time frame. And that early voting time frame starts October 23rd and goes to November 2nd. And you will politely bug them every day until you know that they have gotten out and voted for you. I tell the folks that I go to when I visit their chapter or their district meeting that I've got a very short list of things that I may ask Santa for Christmas this year. The only one thing that I would really like to achieve is that I would like for Prop 9 to have a higher, more positive voter turnout than any other proposition that is on the ballot. Now, I know there's some pretty significant and important items on the ballot, but you all are amazing people. You have extremely high favorable ratings with your friends, your former colleagues, your students. You have just an appeal and a message to people about the need, the reality for this, and the fact that these folks, that you poured your life into these people, and they will do anything that you may ask them to do. And what you're asking them to do is show up October 23rd to November 2nd or on November 7th and vote for Prop 9. And so, and if they want extra credit, and who doesn't want extra credit, ask them to take a friend, a family member, a colleague from work, something that would begin to exponentially expand that voter turnout for Prop 9. I do believe that voter turnout is going to be the most important part of winning on Prop 9. I believe we're going to win on Prop 9. And I believe that we're going to have a strong showing for the proposition. Do I want to take any of that for granted? No, I do not. It's why we're working so hard to get this accomplished. But I also want to stress to all of our TRTA leaders and all of you that are brand new to TRTA that there has not been a time in recent memory that has been better for us to communicate the valid need for a measure like Prop 9. And that because we know that even with the passage of Prop 9, we believe when that occurs, it will not fix all of the things that have happened over the last 20 years when it comes to TRS. Our elected officials are going to be looking at these results. They're going to be looking and seeing what items resonated with the voters the most. And my belief and hope is that legislators will see that Texas had a major turnout and an outpouring of support for our Texas school employee retirees by supporting Prop 9. That will only happen. If our TRTA grassroots advocacy power is magnified by the number of people that we can encourage and ultimately get to show up October 23rd to November 2nd for early voting, or on November 7th for the actual election day. So I know I've talked about those lists a long time. We will not have another presentation before election day, before November 7th. And so we are going to be all hands on deck, and working the entire state of Texas to get voter turnout as high as we can. I don't believe we're going to do another one of these before election day. And so I really wanted to make sure that you all know that it is critical that we bring those folks to the ballot place, to the polling place, and actually vote for Prop 9. So now's that time, y'all. We need to make sure those folks are going to show up, and that your lists are full of people, and that they're going to be there. So I know I spent a lot of time on that, but it is the heart of the message today, is that voter turnout is critical, and how we get that voter turnout is going to be really important. I'll say one final thing on that. You all know that we've put a lot of our resources, financial resources, into signs, push cards, in working with our chapters, getting things put out there. It is so expensive to get media, any kind of media, whether it's a television commercial, a radio spot, a billboard. Those things are outrageously expensive. And as an organization that is bipartisan in nature, that works with everyone, because I believe that it doesn't matter what your political background or beliefs are, you can find a reason to support teacher retirement system of Texas and the issues that face our school employee retirees. We don't have a political action committee with all of this, millions of dollars available to spend it on billboards on I-35. In a matter of fact, I would argue that there is no billboard on I-35 or I-10 that is more effective than a TRTA member who is asking someone directly, will you help me? Will you vote for Prop 9? We all know that the science behind getting people to do something is far better from a testimonial, direct communication, and a simple request from one person to the other. That is the power of this organization. That is the energy behind the Texas Retired Teachers Association. It's our members, and you all can do this. And I'm so grateful that many of you have gotten your list going. And so I just wanted to spend an extra minute talking about that. So thank you so much for listening. All right. The next thing I wanted to talk about is the actual voting time frame. As we start down that path to October 23rd and November 2nd, please, again, keep your phone trees, your email trees, your text trees, all of those communications sources available to you as leaders in your district and your chapter. Communicate with each other. Please post on social media that you have gone out and voted, that you supported Prop 9. Let us fill the social media channels with TRS retirees and TRTA members that are out there doing what they need to do to support Prop 9 and making it visible. The more visible this is, the more people will be reminded that they need to go and do it themselves. If you have any pictures and you want to send those to us, if you have any pictures of engagement that you want to send to us that we can put on our social media, please do that. We benefit so much from a great number of different types of folks that watch what we do. So please send us your media content. I want to showcase our members working so hard to pass Prop 9. I love what we're doing here. I love being a part of TRTA. It's the great opportunity that I have to be a leader in this organization. But my efforts in no way compare to the magnitude, the power of that of our membership. And so let's showcase that. Let's promote it. Let's make sure that people see that we're out there working to get this passed. Okay. TRTA will push messaging about early voting for Prop 9. Please like and share those posts. So as we get into the early voting process, next week and during the October 23rd to November 2nd. We'll be sending out inside lines. We'll be doing social media posts. If you all can watch for those, send those off to your friends, your colleagues, reshare them on Facebook, post them in other places. We would appreciate that. All right. I believe that covers the big part of getting the voter turnout, activating our lists, kind of a time frame of when things are going to start happening, and the preparation that all of you are working with right now. One part that I didn't mention, I'll go ahead and say it, is that I know a lot of our chapters are looking for polling places to go and hold some of our signs. There are a number of our districts and chapters have held a few of those signs back so that if there's a group of TRTA members that want to make a special day of going down to one of our polling places and holding up a sign, following all the rules, we are rule followers, and holding up that sign and encouraging people as they go into the polling place to be reminded which of those propositions are really important. Well, Prop 9 is a big one. And so if you're a chapter president, or if you're one of our local leaders that is looking at that as a possibility, we do encourage that. We know that the district presidents across TRTA are working hard with our chapters to get some handle on where folks may be and when they're going to be there. That to say, this final thought. November 7th will probably be the most important day for having TRTA members at polling places around the state. You'll get a lot of folks that, for one reason or the other, did not show up to vote during early voting. People that are showing up to vote because they know it's election day. That's when the media focuses on everything. That's when the whole big, concept. Some people don't want to open their Christmas presents until Christmas morning. Some people say, "Oh, we'll open some on Christmas Eve." Some people just refuse to vote unless it's the actual voting day. So that's November 7th, and you're going to get a lot of turnout that day. So if you have just one day that your chapter can commit to doing some polling place sign holding, I would recommend that be November 7th. Okay. So thank you so much for listening to that. I'm not done yet. I have some things that I want to share with everyone. And I try to come up with some creative ways to do this. And some of this is creative and some of it is just me communicating to all of you about the importance of Prop 9. In the last couple of weeks, probably in the last, 5, 6, 7 days, more of our TRTA members have started sending me what would be viewed as potentially negative style comments around Prop 9. And I think it's important that we don't necessarily dig into what all of those comments may be saying, but more importantly, to just reinforce with us as an organization that somebody is always going to not like something about what's going on. And in this, hyper-charged political world that we live in, people are entitled to their own opinions, but sometimes they're just flat out wrong, and we've got to do our best to educate them on why Prop 9 is important and why it should be passed. And so I'm not going to argue in any of those major details today. But I will make a few comments on why it's so important that we pass Prop 9. And so part of my creativity thought on that is to, as we started off very early in this process, try to think of some words that might rhyme with Prop 9 to get some ownership on this. So the first one they came up with, Prop 9, it's mine. So all of you that are a TRS retiree that will benefit from Prop 9, this is yours. This proposition is a cost of living adjustment that is an uncapped cost of living adjustment that will benefit over 400,000 TRS school employee retirees. It's not just our educators. It's not educators and administrators. It's all TRS retirees. And many of you know that my wife is a high school teacher at Dripping Springs High School. And I've always known this just because of the work that I do with TRTA, but I see it on a more regular basis. The amount of energy and time and commitment that all aspects of a school put into our Texas children's education is so important. And when we're talking about supporting Prop 9, and Prop 9, it's mine, all of the folks that work so diligently for decades in our Texas public schools will benefit from Proposition 9 if it were to pass. And for those TRS retirees that fall just outside of the eligibility range for this cost of living raise, Prop 9 is still yours too. The importance of passing Prop 9 to give our current TRS retirees that will benefit from this COLA, to get that across the finish line with a resounding show of support from our school employee retirees, from our active school employees, from the TRS retirees that are not going to benefit from this, from all Texans. It is going to shore up the ability for TRTA to continue to work with our elected officials on all of the matters that are important to you, including the work that will be necessary to benefit current retirees that are not going to receive the COLA if Prop 9 passes. People who've been retired over the last two years, almost 2.5 years. I think it's December 31st, 2020 is the cutoff. Had to be retired December 31st, 2020 or before for Prop 9 to affect your retirement benefits. Anybody after that, this proposition won't increase your benefits, but passing this proposition absolutely increases our ability to impress upon legislators the need to do more of this as we go into the future. I'm going to go ahead and say the second one, Prop 9, it's about time. It is about time. And that last comment that I made, I wanted to transition because TRTA as an organization fully believes that going 20 years without a cost of living adjustment is bad public policy. It's not something that I don't believe the legislature wants to do again. It's not something that TRTA, of course, would choose to see happen to our retirees. And we know that in a world where inflation continues to be an ever-present and ongoing reality, Texans have to come together and support our future TRS retirees through some kind of financial support with cost of living raises. And so passing Prop 9, it's about time for us to end the drought, first of all, for all of our retirees who have gone 20 years, 19 years, 18 years, and so on since they've been retired. As we all know, when we talk about our major sentiment in this discussion is that no one who's retired since September 1st, 2004 has ever received a raise in their teacher retirement system benefit. And a lot of folks fall into that category where it's been 20 years, 10 years, 5 years, a couple of years has really been such a long time. And so it now is time to pass this very important proposition. Let's get our retirees a COLA. They need it. They deserve it. They can't afford to go to the grocery store and really take care of their financial needs. And this is a step in the right direction. So Prop 9, it's about time that we do this as a state. Final one that I have is, Prop 9, and it's just fine. And this one is important to me because I think that I've started to hear some messaging from folks that may just not know exactly how this all happened in the legislature. But it's important to share with the Texas voters that Prop 9 is going to be it's going to use a portion of the state surplus to pre-fund a cost of living raise for over 420,000 TRS retirees. I'll say that again. Prop 9 is going to use a very small portion of our Texas excess revenue to pay for a cost of living raise for over 420,000 TRS public school employee retirees, many of which who have gone 2 decades without ever having a raise in their retirement benefits. And the state of Texas has taken the most fiscally conservative approach to handling this cost. They've done that by using a portion of those funds to pre-fund and fully pay for the cost of this increase in benefits for our retirees, so that no tax increase is necessary. No tax increase is necessary to support Prop 9. No active teacher will be paying more in their retirement benefits because of the support for Prop 9. No school district will pay more to support this cost of living adjustment. The Texas legislature, in a truly bipartisan, with absolute unanimous support, agreed that if Prop 9 passes, a small portion of the excess revenues will be transferred from the Texas Comptroller of Public Accounts to the Teacher Retirement System of Texas. Those resources will be invested. The interest off of those investments will pay for this cost of living increase, a cost of living increase that will benefit over 420,000 school employee retirees who live in every community, every town, every county, all over the state of Texas has a school employee retiree who is a Texas taxpayer, who is also going to spend their annuity in that community, generating more tax support for the local municipality, the county, the state. This is a great way to use surplus funds that can be transferred to the teacher retirement system so that those funds can be invested and yield a much larger total result for the state of Texas as an economic multiplier that will benefit Texans for years into the future. And so my hope is that people who may question the idea about Texas taxpayer dollars being used to support Prop 9, that's true. That is true. All of the resources that the Texas legislature has access to are Texas taxpayer dollars. Please remember that Texas TRS retirees are Texas taxpayers as well. And they are $1 billion as a group. They are representative of $1 billion a month in economic activity in the state of Texas. Their dollars are buying goods and services and supporting local economies in a way that is benefiting the state of Texas. Just like everybody else, they have been paying more for everything that they have purchased and everything that they have used their annuity dollars for. It's cost them more. Those annuity dollars have been the same for many years, in some cases 2 decades. And while the prices have gone up, the tax has gone to the state of Texas, and the benefit has been one direction. More costs, higher tax, increased receipts on the backs of our school employee retirees who receive these annuities. And a portion of the money that is sitting in the excess revenue certainly has come from our Texas school employee retirees who do play such a vital part of the economy of Texas. And those dollars, through the support of the Texas legislature, our elected officials, and our governor have all been agreed, we can return some of those dollars to the Texas TRS pension fund, invest those dollars, and get a yield that will be significantly larger than what it would have been otherwise. So TRTA members, I know that you're encountering some of the questions on this, some people that have shared some negative insight on this, but I just want to reassure you that we are, as an organization, absolutely engaged in a positive way. And I am grateful. I am so grateful to the Texas legislature, to our leaders, to the Senate, to the House, to our governor, who all unanimously supported the cost of living increase for retirees by using a portion of those excess funds so that we can reinvest it through TRS and get a much larger yield by increasing our retirees' pension amounts and letting those dollars create more economic activity across the state of Texas. And so I'm grateful for those of you that are passing those questions on to me. Encourage those friends and family members of yours to know that there is no tax increase for this. When people talk about how this may cost the taxpayer money, please remember you all are taxpayers as well. A significant portion of the Texas economy is because you all pay sales tax on all the goods and services that you are buying through our Texas pension dollars. And so let's remain focused on the big realities here. We can all do this together. There's no reason for anybody to want to oppose this. It's a great investment. It's a one-time strong investment of our excess revenues from the 88th legislature. And I think that if you're a good, strong fiscal conservative, you'll see that by investing this money through TRS to help our dedicated, hardworking, selfless school employee retirees of Texas, you will see an economic benefit to the great state of Texas for doing it that way. So let's all rally around this. Let's support it. I know we can. I believe in all of you. I appreciate what you are doing for this organization. You watching this today, it's making a difference. And the work that you're going to do is also going to make a difference. As we conclude today's presentation, I'm going to apologize for not answering the questions that may have shown up. I'm going to ask my TRTA team to look through the questions that have come on YouTube and social media through Facebook. But I've got something very special that we would like for all of you to see. So between now and November 7th, I wish all of you the best. Thank you so much for your strong support. Let's go out there. Let's generate the best voter turnout that we can. Let's remain positive. Let's remain focused. Let's keep our eyes on the prize. Let's win. And Roy, let's play our special video.